We ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
You ain't first, last. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Brews and Reviews. I'm Mick.
And I'm Pat.
And each week we sit down with you degenerates to pretend we're certified cicerones and cinephiles.
That is right. So grab a cold one and join us as we review 21st Amendment Brewery's Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA and the 1988 Christmas classic, Die Hard.
And if you've been with us before, you know what time it is.
Release the Kraken!
Ooh.
That was your sign. Oh, Ken out there. It's going to be a long episode this evening.
That's a tall head on that one. I poured it poorly.
We already have, it's Bush League hour here at the Mick Pat Studios because once again, we are joined by a guest returning. I think our first guest to return, other than what was that one guy's name? Look at the wall.
If you don't remember who it is,
well, no, we know who it is. We're trying to remember his name.
Well, the guest returning now is the one and only Dean. Dean, welcome to have you back. You're a good friend. Happy you made time to come in and first Brews and Reviews. Usually we start people out doing a Brews and Reviews and then letting them on the real podcast. But
wow,
it was Bryant. That was who came.
It was Brian.
I'm shifting the tides here. Mick, Pat, thank you for having me back on.
Make sure to leave a space in our names because otherwise people think you're just saying like someone's last name.
Lick Pat.
Okay.
Ooh. All right. So what do we have here? I've got the can. We're looking at it, and this is a good can. I like it. Like I said, it's Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA by 21st Amendment Brewery. Not a lot of verbiage on here. Just says India Pale Ale brewed with blood oranges and natural flavors. And that's really all we got on the can besides the artwork, which is Abraham Lincoln crushing a blood orange. And he has escaped. He appears to have escaped from Mount Rushmore. And he is flinging and crushing blood oranges. And Teddy Roosevelt is grinning.
In shock.
Yes, as a blood orange smacks him in the noggin. So these guys, they started in the year 2000. So the Y2K era is when they came around. They are from San Francisco. And two buddies, Nico and Sean, they founded in the historic South Park neighborhood, San Francisco. Two buddies, one guy, he was a paralegal and a photographer. The other, a restaurateur, actor, writer.
Come on, Pat. Let's be real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which one of them ended up being a home brewer?
Oh yes, that was Mr. O'Sullivan. He was
take a drink, microbrewery. Started out as a home brewery.
Yeah. Classic.
I just wonder if there's a gun to each microbrewery person's founder's head saying, if you don't put that you started off in your house, we're gonna end you right now.
You remember the Obama birther issue?
No.
Was
he born in?
Yeah, was he born in?
This
guy's born in Kenya. All this stuff, this big scandal. That's how it is. I think for these microbrew, craft brew guys who are
was it born in the basement or was it born in the lab?
Yeah, exactly.
Lab.
Exactly.
In the basement.
I was born in
the basement lab. So the 21st Amendment, if you didn't know, was in response to the 18th Amendment. The 18th Amendment being prohibition. The 21st being the repeal of the 18th Amendment. And that happened on December 5th, 1933, which, if you're listening to this today, comes out, it's December 5th today. And
happy 21st Amendment Day.
Yep, 21st Amendment Day. So enjoy your freedom to have libations, spirits, and beverages. Rest in peace to the moonshiner life. There's probably still a couple guys doing those things.
I'm pretty sure our pastor has made moonshine before.
Really?
I mean, he's at least talked about it.
Huh.
Have you ever had some good quality moonshine before?
I have had good moonshine.
Like the moonshine that basically tastes like juice.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had some homemade moonshine up in Michigander.
I had some from Tennessee when I was in Georgia.
It was a Mexican woman, first generation immigrant, homemade. She called it white wine. It was not white wine.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
We're just cooking with some white wine tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I think it's legal to make your own wine, and it's illegal to make your own beer, but it's illegal to make your own liquor, which is why I think she calls it white wine, because that shit was the most gasoline white wine I've ever had in my life. Very citrusy gasoline, but you know what I mean?
That's funny.
Well, Pat, thanks for reading the can, and I gotta say, it is one of the most striking cans I think we've had. Just from a design perspective, like I give them big props to whoever is doing their graphic designs for the 21st Amendment Brewery. However, I'm going to deduct points for the name, not because the name's bad, but I just have a hard time figuring out. When I was looking up this beer, I couldn't figure out what was the beer and what was the brewery. And I was really struggling with how long the title was and everything like that. Because I thought Brew Free was the brewery at first, and the beer was the 21st Amendment. And it was, I guess that's more of just like a maximum character limit in some like product listing pages online, you know? But yeah, so what do we got for ABV?
It's a 7.0 on that one, and it's got all kinds of malts and flavored hops in there. It says Centennial, Chinook, Cascade, Amarillo.
They give us any numbered hops or malts that we can cross check?
I didn't see that. I don't see that on here. But
what about what other flavors or notes are we supposed to be picking up in this?
Yeah, so we're supposed to have
orange.
Yep.
No shit.
Yep, some blood orange in there, and they don't give a list. Let's see. I'm not seeing a list of flavors in here. Besides, it's just from a fresh blood orange puree and citrusy dry hops. Maybe some caramel in there, caramel in there. Oh, that's in the malt, yeah. But I think they're not listing any of the flavors. We have to go find the flavors ourselves.
With the push it through your teeth test. Now, Dean, I know you've been quietly observing and, being polite while we get the show rolling here, but I really want you to follow the instructions for the swish test, okay? So I'm going to walk you and Pat through it, and all of our kin out there listening. Whatever beverage you got, do the swish test, push it through your teeth test with. But I'll go through it, and you just kind of follow step by step, all right?
All right.
So first, go ahead and take a tablespoon amount of your beverage into your mouth, and let it roll over your tongue and roll under it. Let it, move your tongue around so it gets under your tongue, back by those molars, and then start swishing your tongue side to side, a little side to side action, and then purse your kind of smiley, dimple it up a little bit and let the beer go to your back corners of your mouth, like through your back teeth. And as it goes back in, put your tongue like this, put the middle of your tongue against the roof of your mouth and push your tongue forward, pushing the beer through your front teeth. And if that doesn't bring out the most flavor of the beer, I don't know what will.
Yeah. I have to do it one more time. It got warm in there during that one.
I think that turned every bit of beer in my mouth to just straight foam.
That's what it's supposed to do. You can feel it on the...
All right, first thoughts. I definitely think I taste way more orange. Like, I will actually say I taste orange peel more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm getting
like
that.
Way strong orange peel.
I'm getting that.
Which, if you're making an orange puree, I bet they threw the whole orange in, I can't imagine they just take out the inside flesh. I'm not tasting as much caramel malt or anything like that. But it does pretty much have just like, I would say, the expected amount of hoppiness for a 7% IPA. I thought it might be a little less, just with how much of a blood orange is kind of featured as a flavor profile here. But I've had blood oranges. Have you guys had blood oranges, Dean, Pat?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I don't know if I actually have had a blood orange that wasn't in a beer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dean, what do you think blood orange compared to normal orange? Like, do you recall any taste difference at all?
I think I recall them. I mean, at the time, keep in mind it's been a while, but I didn't even think the blood orange tasted much like an orange at the time. Like it was like it felt like it was like a pretty different palate, I would say.
Sure. Yeah. I've always thought of them as kind of like a watered down orange flavor. Like they look intense, but then I just always thought it tasted like a less potent orange, less sweet or sour.
Like the melon version of an orange.
Yeah, which makes me wonder, why would you pick something that doesn't taste much like orange to be like the basis for the beer? But all that said, I definitely do taste orange after the push it through your teeth test. And Dean, any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on the push it through your teeth test? Like, do you think there is validation to the test? Like, is it scientific?
I think I get more of the orange, but I think I lose all the other flavors when I do that, that kind of turns me off a bit.
We'll just take a sip, and that's how the beer tastes normally. But when you aerate it, you get all the flavors. Like a sommelier. Sommelier?
Sommelier. Somalian.
But overall, this is probably one of the least hoppy IPAs I've had in a while.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so. This is pretty smooth. It feels pretty light for an IPA.
Do you feel like you're getting what you see on the can? Do you feel like they're living up to the profile that you get from the can here? Because that's often what we judge the beers by, is like, are they even hitting what they're advertising?
Yeah, I think the can is pretty on par marketing what the beer is. I would agree with you. When I look at it, I'm like, is this like an addition of the Blood Orange IPA? Like, is this a brew free or die edition of the Blood Orange IPA? Is that part of the title of the brewery? Is that the title of the beer?
It's hard to tell.
What am I
There's
looking
a lot
at here?
squeezed in there.
They're a marketing guy, breaking it down, not analyzing it.
Well, I think I've said all I have to say on it, Pat. What about you? I think my mind's made up. Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
Yeah, I think that It tastes like I'm drinking a orange peeled beer, but I feel like I need to have another sip just to see the what I think. It's an IPA, and there's a couple of those out there. You know,
We don't live in. Do people know where we live?
Everyone knows where we live, Dean. Everyone your IP address isn't a secret anymore.
We do live in Colorado, so
there's a lot of IPAs around us.
We're in IPA land.
mm-hmm. Hey,
IPA
push up in your mic a little.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Posture.
But the
Most douchey thing you could tell someone like, hey, posture.
Upright
posture. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to give it a rating. I'll teach Dean our rating system as well. But how do you feel, Pat? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about it.
All right. So those who are longtime listeners, you know our rating system is on a thumbs up scale. And how many thumbs do Pat and I have? Well, we each have 2. So that's out of 4. The best a beer can get is 4 thumbs up. It's a very rare thing to occur. The worst a beer can get is 4 thumbs down. So a neutral score is not that bad. Just means, no thumbs up, no thumbs down. And so, Dean, you're probably wondering like, oh, okay, so I have 2 thumbs too. I definitely want to hear what your thumbs are. They just know they're irrelevant and they have no bearing on how we rate the beer. But your opinion is heard.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here, guys.
I'll just say this. The 4 thumbs up is mathematically in line with the 5-star rating on.
Is it?
On
because there's a 0.
Untapped?
Because you can technically have 0.
Okay,
in there, and you can go up and down.
Yeah,
we've explained this ad nauseum before too. It like really broke down the percentages of how it goes up and down.
Real fans out there know exactly what each thumb is worth when it comes to a single star, right? With that, anyways, let's go ahead and give our thumbs up. Dean, I'll let you go first. If out of a potential 2 thumbs down to 2 thumbs up, over all the beer you've ever had, what would you rate this? And to keep in mind, I would give I usually give a thumb up to a beer if I think this is a good beer for someone's first time in tasting this profile, right? Like if this was someone's first IPA, would I say this is a good IPA for them as a first timer? A no thumbs up means it's just I kind of view it as just an okay beer, and 2 thumbs up is like extraordinary. Like I will pay $10, $12 to have this at a bar because it's so damn good. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, what do you feel?
I think your scale with the 1 thumbs up is interesting because although it could apply to this one, I'm gonna call this one neutral, and that's because I don't think this is a very accurate representation of an IPA.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it. I think that a person trying this profile for the first time would probably like this compared to other IPAs because I think it is a good IPA, but I wouldn't say it's like as strong as a lot of normal ones out there. So I'm going to go neutral on this one.
All right. Okay. Pat, any thoughts?
I'm going to go 1 thumb down.
I fucking knew it. Oh, 1 thumb down?
Yeah, 1 thumb down.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
what
dude.
a surprise. I thought you were going to go 1 thumb up for the marketing, bro. For the Pat everyone remembers last fucking Christmas, right? When Pat gave a thumb up to the dog shit beer of the year. Why, Pat? Their marketing's pretty good, I guess. I think the branding is pretty on point. Okay. Never mind that it tastes like someone pissed in a bowl of potpourri, whatever it's called. Anyway, sorry. It's the holidays. I'm getting emotional. I get spun up from trauma.
You better change your posture here.
Yeah,
anyway, sorry. You thumb down, Pat.
I'm giving a thumb down. It tastes like I'm drinking. It's a little bit like I think if you were sitting and not thinking about it, you could just drink this beer fine and just be whatever. But if you're sitting trying to enjoy a beer, it's got some like orange flavored medicine vibes. You know, that's I'm getting a little bit like it feels like I'm just
a little bit of a hooch booch.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
a little bit of
PTSD.
Definitely, and a little bit of memory of being a child, having some like orange flavored Motrin. You know,
or just like emergency citrus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna give it a neutral thumbs.
Wow. Real
I'm
original.
gonna give it a flat no thumbs. I almost gave it a 1 thumb up just to spite Pat, and just to do it out of the sense that I really like the design.
It's good,
which has no bearing on whether or not the beer is good.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: I'm a big fan of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Yeah, no shit. No, I think they. If this is their first outing doing IPA, even if it's not, it's a fine one. I've had way worse. I've had, much better. I would say majority of IPAs kind of fit with this one, in my opinion, of quality. I agree with what you said, Dean. Taste wise, it's a pretty mild IPA, but when it comes to like overall pleasure, I don't think it stands out, but it's certainly not standing out for bad flavor at all. So
No, it's good.
yeah. So all right, here on the Mick Pat show, unfortunately, because I gave it a no thumbs up or down, and Pat gave it a single thumb down.
Mm-hmm. And here's some answers to the naming. So the Brew Free, they have 4 Brew Frees, or Brew Free or Die. And then it's their Brew Free or Die Hazy IPA, Brew Free or Die,
Gotcha.
other, IPA, and then Orange IPA. So it's kind of like seems like the little bit of the Voodoo Ranger,
Yeah.
range, kind of line of IPAs.
Hey, it's all about branding nowadays. It doesn't really even matter how good your beers is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the Voodoo beers are good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have been not good. You know what I mean? But branding is everything. So, New Belgium also still waiting to hear back if you're gonna let us if you want to be a sponsor of the show. I know we dog on some of your beers real hard, but that's because we love you. We want you to be the best you can be. Anyways, with that, 1 thumb down for the 21st Amendment Brewery, Brew Free or Die. But tell you what, that name is flipping cool. It's one of the coolest names because I remember
it's great.
Yeah, and I remember going to go see Die Hard or Live Free. Or was it Live Free or Die Hard?
Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah, that was a great movie in theaters.
Big
it was
fan
a really
over here.
cinematic experience. And today we're going over the best Christmas movie in time to hype you up for the Christmas season, Die Hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, before we hop into the review of the movie, I just kind of want to see real quick how my co-hosts here feel about Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and have you ever had to defend your position on it? I will say, I remember I was shocked when someone first said it was a Christmas movie, and I came around. It felt like my eyes had been opened for the first time. At first, I was just shocked by what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
The light was bright and maybe hurt a little bit, but as my eyes adjusted, I saw the reasoning, the truth in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe Die Hard, right next to the first Lethal Weapon, is like perfect Christmas movies.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely a Christmas movie, and I feel the same way. I didn't the first time I saw it, I didn't notice it because I didn't watch it at Christmas. But now if you watch it at Christmas time, it's a pretty Christmassy movie.
Pretty freaking Christmassy, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dean?
My take on the Christmas take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this became more of a Christmas movie as time went on. Initially, it really was just like kind of was what it was, but as time goes on, this movie becomes more of a classic. It became kind of funny to regard it as a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, every year Die Hard is playing during Christmas, and you're probably going to watch it with your family if you're at a family outing and nobody knows what to do and it's on TV. In my opinion, I think I love this as a Christmas movie, mainly because I don't like a lot of Christmas movies out there. So the fact that this is like really on the edge there, I dig it. I dig it hard.
Mm-hmm.
The only other movie that I could say I like as a Christmas movie that's like maybe more so, but still on the edge, is like Gremlins or something.
Dude, Gremlins, amazing Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Gremlins, Pat?
Yeah.
I remember showing Gremlins to my wife when we were dating, and
She probably didn't like it as much as you did.
no, she got on board, but she's a scaredy cat, bro, and it actually spooked her a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I loved Gremlins as a kid, though. Anyways, diving right on into Die Hard. If you're not aware of what Die Hard is, and you don't want to be spoiled, then stop listening to the podcast and go watch Die Hard with friends or family. It's December 5th when you're hearing this probably. And so anytime around now, you should just be watching it, getting yourself in the mood for this season. But it's directed by John McTiernan. I'm not really familiar with many of his other works. I don't think anyways. I don't know, Pat or Dean, if you want to look up, see some of his other stuff that he's made. But the lead, of course, Bruce Willis, and supporting cast, the legendary Alan Rickman, just really selling it as a German terrorist thief.
I don't think he's just a. He's just a robber. He's a thief. He's a high class thief, but allowing the terrorist perception.
Yep. And then Bonnie Bedelia, who plays Bruce Willis's wife, Holly McClane, and Reginald VelJohnson as Sergeant Al Powell, or as everyone knows him as, America's dad, Uncle to Urkel, and father of reason and good advice on Family Matters, which, if you didn't grow up watching Family Matters, that's probably where, the generational disconnect begins, I would say. Mm-hmm. That was pretty pivotal to me. But anyways, the whole plot of the movie is that it's Christmas Eve. John McClane is flying in. Him and his wife have been separated for a little while over work. He's working in New York as a cop. She's working big job in LA. This sounds like a nightmare. What were people doing in the 90s or 80s? And he's flying in for the holidays to see her and kind of try to make amends, spend time with the kids. And as he is flying in and going to the office party in her big old high-rise corporate LA building, terrorists arrive, taking everyone in the party hostage and ruining the Christmas party at the Nakatomi Plaza. And it's up to John McClane, Bruce Willis, to save the day. So with that, we've all seen the movie. I'll say that I most recently watched it last year, as well as Die Hard 2. It's kind of hard, I think, to just watch one at Christmas time, especially when Die Hard 2, I think, really commits even more to being a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. But I saw it a year ago. What about you guys? What was the last time you saw Die Hard?
Yeah, right about a year ago. Because I think I showed it to my little sister-in-law. She was time to see. I was like, all right, everybody, downstairs, we're watching a Christmas movie.
Reel them in.
The director also, by the way, does Hunt for Red October.
Great movie.
And Predator.
Oh, we did Predator?
There you go.
Wow. Ironic, because we almost did Predator tonight as a review.
I was going to say that.
Dean, last time you saw Die Hard?
Last Christmas, actually.
Hell yeah. 3 for 3.
Yeah, it'd been a long time since I'd seen it before then, but last Christmas was and it's probably going to come up this Christmas too.
So, let's just kind of start from the beginning, in regards to enjoyment of the film, opinions on the film. It is, I would say, a classic, came out in the 80s, right? 1988. 88, yeah. I think it's a very classic start, right? Like, it feels so familiar, and maybe it was new at the time, but to me, by the time I saw it as a kid, I felt I'd seen so many movies the same way, and it's like almost indistinguishable in the beginning until, the real intelligence or plot of the terrorist heist is kind of revealed. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys, but if you can recall kind of the beginning of the movie, and it's not as much of a quick, I don't know. It doesn't feel very unique, I would say.
It doesn't just kick off with a bang or anything, but yeah, it's just the some of the classic things at the beginning. This, late 80s, early 90s office party going on, right? And then where the protagonist finds himself learning of the bad guys and what's happening, but from a hidden position, because this is where he's changing in the office, and he sees the CEO or whatever getting interrogated about the vault codes, because he was using the office because his wife's the assistant, whatever. And so they that's a classic one, just being where you're not supposed to be, and then learning about something that the fact that you know it now has to cost you your life. And that's when it ramps up right at that moment.
Yeah.
When you're found out. and they see you.
Dean, what about you?
In regards to
Just the opening of the movie, like as a starting out, like do you remember like when you first watched it or something, and kind of like when was the first time it really grabbed your attention? Like at what part?
I think given the time that this movie came out, you're not necessarily watching it for something to grab your attention, because it's a lot different than like movies now have to kind of separate themselves from all the ones that came prior to them. But this is just at a time when you gotta just do whatever the hell you wanted, and it didn't have to be anything that crazy. The movie itself was just an event, you know? And so this whole movie's like, yeah, it's like they didn't have to do a lot to make a great movie. Maybe some like good one-liners, some good action in there, some good characters. And so you're kind of just watching this movie for the enjoyment and a little bit of just kind of reminiscing, I'd say. But it's just a classic. It's just classic.
I think I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think at least from a childlike perspective, when this was playing on AMC, you know, channel 64, I think, back in the good old cable days of Colorado. And I just remember like not really paying too much attention. I was probably playing with some action figures or something on the floor while it was on in the bedroom. And all of a sudden when John McClane gets his first kill and just writes in blood on the dude's shirt, ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun, and the terrorist opened the elevator to see like a dead terrorist like that, I was like, oh, wait a second, like this is a different kind of cat and mouse thing going on here. And I just remember ever since I was a kid thinking that would have been the most awesome Halloween costume, and every year I want to do it. But I'm just like, every year that passes by, like, no one's going to get that. Like if I show it to
be the dead terrorist.
Yeah, with just a sweatshirt on that says, oh, ho, ho, now I have a machine gun. And like, I just think that's like something.
It's a good ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah, and like the inside crowd will know what it is. You know what I mean? And like the people who know. But I always remember that as just like being a moment that caught my attention. And I think the fact that like as John McClane is going through the movie, it becomes more MacGyver-y. Like he does some MacGyver shit. You guys know I'm referencing MacGyver, right? You guys know MacGyver is.
Yeah. And because also he has nothing. He's half naked. By the end, he's got no shoes. You know. Yeah. He just has to be intuitive and resourceful. And it's like but that machine gun was a good find. The classic. MP5. That's a good MP5. First. That's a good first piece of gear to get out of the gate.
Oh yeah, dude. And I think that movie is the movie that like instilled into me like MP5 is like
superior.
It is the pinnacle of German engineering. You know what I mean? Like if it's what German terrorists are using when they go to take over Nakatomi Plaza, you know, and it's always what the SWAT teams are using when you see like the greatest videos or images of SWAT. Nowadays, I think most SWAT is using M4s and stuff, which is, of course, you know, better technology. Yeah, it's everyone has it, right? It's like, oh, cool, SWAT has what I have at home. Big deal. But like, you see some SWAT dudes rolling around with like MP5 SD, and you're like, oh,
I always think of like classic, like British SAS.
Yeah, old school SEAL movies.
You know what the SD stands for?
Suck my dick.
No. No. Stands for slap that.
Oh, slap that.
On the
You're
front
right.
of that thing. Just, if you don't slap it, you're not doing it right.
I get that it was really immature that I said suck my dick, but that gun does have like big like eat it energy. You know what I mean? Like that dude comes through the door with the MP5 SD, and you just see like that 5-pound suppressor on the front. You're like, oh, I'm in trouble. Anyways, all right, cool. So like as the movie's progressing on, I think there's a lot of cool scenes, you know, like Alan Rickman quickly establishes like, you know, one, he can't be bargained with, and two, I don't think the full plot and plan of the robbers is revealed immediately, right? Like, because at first it is like, is this a hostage situation? Wait, he just killed what is his name, Takashi?
I think so.
Takashi Nakamoto. And then also kills the dude who's trying to be the good guy of like, let's talk here. I'm a businessman. I work in sales and I can sell you the shirt off your back. And he's like, okay. And then he like ices that guy. It's just, Hans Gruber is a great villain.
I think he's one of the biggest villains.
What do you say?
I think he's one of the best villains.
Oh yeah, of all time, I think. And like it didn't come off wacko unpredictable. It came off as like
calculated.
Yeah, like calculated, and knowing he has, 4 of a kind in his hand, right? He's got 4 aces, and he doesn't want to reveal it. He wants to get as much as he can by the end, right? And it just seems like he enjoys the game, but while also being careful not to overplay his hand too much. I don't know. What about you guys? Early parts of the movie, some of your favorite scenes. I kind of want to save the big scenes, like when Hans and John first meet, right? But like prior to that scene, like for the first half of the movie, anything that you remember really sticking out, anything that you remember like just felt like, classic push your lips out and fire machine gun, like I always think about like how the thrill of the movie gave me, my friends, endless ideas of what to play and jump around on the furniture with toy guns and run around outside with toy guns and airsoft guns. Like a lot of it I feel like came out of these movies, Oh
yeah, like the fact that like, here's the deal, comms are important, but also like in this one it's just like you have to have a radio. Like when he gets the radio off the dead guy, it's like it doesn't help him. Yeah, it does. But it doesn't really help you that much. It was just one of those classic movie things where it's like just the like
they have to be able to talk shit to each other.
Yeah, but also here's the deal: they would have been speaking German to each other over the radio, so you wouldn't have gotten any real info or intel. But it's just like, so now if you're like as a kid when you're playing in the yard, you kind of have a walkie-talkie. Like gun first, walkie-talkie second. That's why I think this movie hits so awesome. And this movie didn't establish the need for that. It answered what we all have all known since we were 5. It's like gun first, walkie-talkie second. And that's exactly what he went and did. And you're just like...
And why is that important, Pat? Why is it important to have that walkie-talkie with your homies? To talk shit, to talk smack to your homie, to whisper swear words over the radio because you're afraid you don't want your parents or their parents to hear. But you're like, just like making up yo mama jokes and like, funny you should say that, your mama, and like then you're like, you son of a bitch, I'm gonna find you, and like just that kind of memory with your homies in the neighborhood was a whole different vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can still remember we were in a cornfield as a kid and we had cap guns. It was a corn maze, right? It was a haunted corn maze, but there was like the whole normal corn maze spot. We had cap guns and radios. And my buddy had gone as a mustard bottle. And I had gone as, I can't even remember what I went as. And we were supposed to be undercover cops at like a fair or something like that. And so someone comes over his radio. It starts speaking like a funny German accent to me and saying he was going to kill my buddy if I didn't like get to him to stop in time. And he's standing on top of this like bridge that goes over one part of the corn maze. And so all I can see at night is like their silhouettes on the bridge. And I'm like running through the corn maze trying to get to the stairs to get up on this bridge. And I just remember swearing over the radio like, I swear to God, I'll fucking skin you, bitch. And like just, say the most heinous. I was like, probably a sophomore in high school. And I get there and it's my youth pastor. And he just thought it was the funniest thing in the world, dude. And because I got up to the bridge and I see my buddy there with the mustard bottle. I see my buddy in the mustard bottle looking like he was crying. He was laughing so hard. And I just see my youth pastor standing there with a cap gun. And he's like, just remember, he was like, you've got a dirty mouth. And I was so shocked. I couldn't even like jokingly raise my cap gun to shoot him. and he shot his cap gun at me, and I just remember the stunned shock.
Wasted.
Yeah, dude, it was great. It was a good time. Sorry, but that memory was like that classic one of me of like that was 100%. We both had seen Die Hard.
That was your Die Hard moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think there's a couple things that, especially I was probably a couple or a few years younger than you guys when watching this movie for the first time, for sure. Two things that stood out. One, this sweaty dude with this dirty wife beater on and with the MP5 is just a very classic image, burned to the mind. And then the second thing, I said this before, are some of the one-liners. Like he's just a good character and a funny guy. I've got a couple of them pulled up here that one of them I remember. Everyone remembers the classic line. I'll let somebody else say that in a bit, but
no, man, take it. We all know what it is.
It's the yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Exactly.
It's just one of the most classic household lines.
I don't even think most people remember where they heard it.
I
But
know.
everyone says it to each other.
Because it's the most accepted. If you're trying to say the F word around somebody who's not ready for you to say it or you're not allowed to say it, it's like I feel like it's the most accepted version of it.
Yeah.
Because you're just allowed to say it if you're quoting Die Hard.
The thing I wonder is before Die Hard, did people just say yippee-ki-yay quoting John Wayne? Like a lot like yippee-ki-yay. You know, and like was that just like what they said when they were about to whoop ass to their friends or family?
I hope
And then
so.
after this movie, it just became yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, because he calls him Cowboy the whole time.
He calls him
right?
John
Yeah.
Wayne,
Yeah.
Cowboy, yeah. It classic line. All right, go ahead, Dean. Keep going.
And another one I got here says, supervisor, attention, whoever you are, this channel is reserved for emergency calls only. John says, no fucking shit, lady. Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
That's right. Dude, that was such a great one.
Just like order pizza.
Yeah. It's so funny, bro.
I gotta use that one sometimes.
That was a good one.
Oh my god,
Dude, eccentric Bruce Willis was my favorite Bruce Willis. Like, eccentric Bruce Willis was great. Also,
because he kind of started out as a comedy guy.
doing commercials and stuff.
This was one of his first like action roles. Whereas before it was kind of like a funny guy, whatever, but like do funny stuff. And then he came out with the, some action stuff, and people started. I think we could see a couple guys now who started doing that too. You can be like, oh, that guy used to be a funny guy. Now he's an action guy. But Bruce Willis, I've only ever known him as the action guy for me,
Sure, yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, I agree with that too. Which also, before we forget, thoughts and prayers go out to the Willis and his family. I know his health is taking an even more stark downturn, and so.
Really?
Oh, are you not aware?
I'm not aware of this.
I'm also not aware.
Wait, are you guys for real? You're not aware? Like
For
Bruce
real.
Willis is no longer he's like comatose.
No, I did not know this.
All right, so, gosh, all right, real quick Mick Corner news update on Bruce Willis. I'm sure a lot of people at home probably know this, or maybe you don't as well. Bruce Willis, for a long time, people have been making fun of how he's been in so many movies as he's been aging. And he was in these movies where he would have, he'd be on the cover of the movie and he'd have maybe 5 to 15 minutes in the movie, and he was hardly ever in scene with any other actors. And it was usually because they were filming him on a separate set, and they would just get a bald guy who looked like him and film them from the back and do a stand-in for everything else. And Bruce Willis was not saying a lot of lines. There was no expression or emotion, a lot of them. And a lot of people dude, this guy's just hamming up. Turns out he has a neurological disease that is a lot like not MS, but it's
called frontotemporal dementia.
Yeah, and it really is a type of almost Alzheimer's. He would forget where he was. He would forget his lines, and so as it got worse and worse, he kind of had people helping him with these movies because he said what all he wanted. He said essentially in his moments of clarity, he knew he didn't have a lot of time left, and so all he was trying to do was get as much money as possible to set his wife and kids up, because his wife is, I think, about 20 years, maybe 10 years younger than him. And his kids aren't that old, actually. He was older in life before he started having kids. And so he really wanted to set them up. So he was doing each of these movies, just doing as much as he could and then making $500,000 to $1 million off of basically cameo roles. And he was just cranking those out, and people were like, "That's fine. We'll use your name to get people to watch the movie on whatever Redbox or whatever." And now he's gotten to a point where he can't talk anymore. Like it's gone so severe that like he's essentially like not able to like really say anything. And that like it seems like I think it was over a month ago when he spoke his like last aware words of like knowing where he was at and stuff. But it's really sad because you could tell you can definitely see, I think, in his more recent movies, especially in the last 5 years. But leading up to that, like the difference between like him and Die Hard, him in I'm trying to think of a couple other movies, I think The Last Boy Scout was one that he was in. 13 Monkeys. Or no, 12 Monkeys.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. Like his acting in all those has way more life and vivaciousness to it. And then you see like in these older movies in the last 5 years, he really slowed down. And it was like there's like instances where people came out after he announced his illness that he would come in and not remember steps and like where to step and stuff and when to shoot the blank of a gun. There's a couple times where he would shoot it prematurely and like people started like, getting hearing damage or like it was dangerous. And so he just pretty much kind of self-retired after he realized, it was getting to the point where he was putting people in danger. Which is just, it's sad. It's a sad thing, but like I choose to remember him, as a guy who, one, is great, entertaining all-star, but also dude who clearly loves his family, makes them a priority, wants to, make as much money as possible, set them up, because he's not going to be able to spend any of it, like he's living in a bed now.
What was one of the last movies that you recall seeing him in?
Shit, dude, I don't know. I pretty much stopped watching all of his stuff after, like, I think Tears of the Sun. Oh no. The real one that I stopped watching because I felt like he was kind of sleepwalking through it, which might have been this dementia, might have not been, I don't know. But Looper, like I liked Looper, but I really felt like his half of Looper over Joseph Gordon-Levitt's half. His half felt way less. Damn, bro, you just throw open that cup.
No.
Jeez, Pat, turn your mic off.
Just that pizza got me.
I think Looper, he felt like he was kind of just doing it for the money. Like there wasn't a lot of life to his role. I'm trying to think of other stuff I saw him in.
I did not see Looper. I remember watching him in Sin City.
City, he was good in. Like in his narration in Sin City's great. Like his narration has a lot of power to it.
The most recent one that I felt like he played a solid role in was Red.
Red was good. Red was good. Even then, though,
just a couple of years before Looper, though.
If Red didn't have John Malkovich, I don't think Red would have been anything. Like John Malkovich to me is like the eccentric old guy who makes those movies fun.
Yeah. I think the whole movie, and especially at the time that I watched it, like there's some awesome guns in there. There's some pretty baller like action scenes.
It was cool to see old people doing action scenes.
Yeah, he's not doing anything crazy, but it's funny. Mm-hmm. There's some really good humor in it. There's a great cast. But I wouldn't say he seemed necessarily lost in that one. I would say.
No, I think it's hard to tell, because of course, like he has no reason to tell anyone when it started, right? So it's hard to all we can do is like try to understand like when it started maybe, and kind of just cut him the slack of like, shit man, like this isn't a guy who's just phoned it in. This is a guy who probably is having severe mental physical issues, and is just trying to set his family up for when he can't provide anymore, which is absolutely commendable. Like there's nothing else more commendable than that. So all that said, let's get back to Die Hard. Sorry that was such a tangent. I thought you guys would have been aware that we're in the nose.
I didn't know about that. Yeah, these some of these pictures that came out, you have him, or it's hard to look at. He's old fading dude.
Man, he's shining bright though, dude. Fifth Element, that was a great one. You guys ever see Fifth Element?
No.
Oh my gosh, that is Bruce Willis pretty much told, here's a gun, have as much fun as you can. And it's amazing. Fifth Element is a great, wacky sci-fi movie. All right. But back to Die Hard. Of course, the Yippee-ki-yay. The line, what does it sound like I'm ordering a fucking pizza? Incredible. Any other ones, Dean, that you want to rip off? Any other good classic one-liners that came out of it?
There's some longer ones.
Do it. Come on, man. Give us the ones that you enjoy, homie. Ones that are lovely to you. People are gonna think we have like a zombie in here.
These
dude.
blood oranges are getting me.
Let's see what we've got here. We got a list of some here. This one's good. Han says, "This time John Wayne does not walk off into the sunset with Grace Kelly." John says, "That was Gary Cooper, asshole."
That was a good one. Yeah. Let's go towards like that middle act, the big I guess like reveal. Like, do you guys remember the tension you felt when John McClane meets Hans Gruber for the first time, and like
doesn't know he's Hans Gruber? Or?
Yeah, neither of them had seen each other.
Yeah, when he uses the American accent.
Yeah, and Hans just knows, oh, this is the cop. Mm-hmm. This is the guy.
Yeah.
And he just uses a very convincing American accent to just sound like another business dude. And it's one of those things where like, how long will this go on for? Mm-hmm. Will this go on until Hans has another one of his buddies around and then doubles? What is going on, dude? What is Hans' plan? Mm-hmm. And I just remember like that was like one of the first times I felt the Uno reverse of cat and mouse in a movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, cause like usually, you know, like, okay, let's like talk about the other movie we might have talked about this evening for Brews and Reviews, Predator. Yeah. Clear cut cat and mouse from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like it never starts being Arnold hunts the predator. It's just that the cat wanders into the mouse's den at one point, and the mouse has some booby traps, right? Mm-hmm. But it never, you know, Uno reverses itself. But this movie, you know, for a while, John McClane's on top, and he's smoking guys, just, you know, putting them down, and then like there is the reverse where it's like he starts getting his shit stuffed. And like, and then, you know, it's kind of like by the end of it, like I think by the end of that movie, there was a really big, how is he going to get out of this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the final showdown, I was like, he's going to die. Like this is going to be a classic 80s movie where the hero dies at the end.
Well, and that, the scene you're talking about specifically where he runs into Hans Gruber for the first time, there's a part of when you're watching that unfold where you're like, the goodness of this guy's gonna get him killed. You know, like, yeah. Oh, he's just wool's being pulled over his eyes.
A naivete.
And, you know, he's just gonna, he wants to help people. Looks like a business guy who got caught in this terrorist, you know, act. And I can't remember how that scene shakes out. It's got, does Hans say something that lets,
I can't remember.
I think Hans either says something that like keys him in to know that he is the bad guy, something he shouldn't have known, or he tries to kill him. But the way that while it's unfolding, you're just going like, oh, this guy's he's in trouble and he has no idea.
Yeah. It was pretty great. And then like past that halfway mark is when I think we start seeing way more of the MacGyver element, you know, John McClane even more on his heels. Like to this day, I think Die Hard maybe it's hard to say if it's Die Hard or not, like a TV show, like actual, you know, MacGyver or Burn Notice. Don't know if you guys ever saw Burn Notice.
Oh yeah.
Pretty CIA MacGyver show.
Tradecraft.
Yeah. But I think everywhere I go, I look around for like tools to get out of the building, you know, means of an exit, means of a barricade.
Because the ductwork probably isn't actually big enough for you to climb through.
No, but dude, when he uses the fire hose for the rappelling out the window, I was always like, oh yeah, shit. Like
that works.
Dude, and I get this as part of my childlike naivety when I first watched this movie. Mm-hmm. But I wondered, and this is going to sound awful, right? I hope you guys laugh at how stupid this is so it doesn't sound as bad. But I wondered, in 9/11, why didn't they use the fire hoses on every floor to like climb down?
Right. Yeah.
Because I had seen Die Hard and I was just
This
thanks,
checks
dude.
out.
Thanks, dude. I was like, there's got to be fire hoses on every floor. Why aren't they like tying them together to climb
They can
down?
fucking put them all together and get all the way down.
You just like die it out and then swing into the next floor. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's like one time when I was a kid and I jumped from my top bunk holding the strings to the blinds.
Oh yeah.
I was like I thought the resistance of the blinds would like slow me down. So I just jumped.
Yeah.
Just straight to the ground.
Ripped the blinds off.
Ripped the blinds off the wall and everything. But hey,
You're like,
and-
this really played out in my mind.
Yeah, dude.
yeah, in my kid's mind, I thought I was going to just smooth rappel down this thing with the blinds.
Yeah. Anyways, regardless, I still thought that was one of the coolest scenes, and just the craftiness of it. And of course, not the final showdown with Hans, but like probably the climax of the movie, I would say, is when, you know, McClane walks in to confront Hans and what's his name, henchman.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Holly as a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
They've figured out, you know, she's John's wife, and he's going in hands up, barefoot, just a ripped up pants and a wife beater, and you're
Glass in his feet.
yeah, and you're like, fuck, dude, he's gonna die. He's gonna like tackle him out the window,
This
save
is
Holly. I don't know what's he gonna do. And bro, dude, oh man, that camera pan. And I just remember as the camera pans and the duct taped M9 on his back, I'm like, I'm so gonna do that shit with my friends. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I remember seeing that on the movie, hitting the pause button on the Dish DVR, running over to like the closet in my room and sliding it open and pulling out an M9 like spring fired airsoft pistol.
And you're like,
I'm like,
Mom, where's the duct tape?
and I just like, I immediately was like, I can do this. And like,
Before you even finish the film, you're digging through drawers in the house.
oh yeah, dude, without a doubt. Like, it, you know, it was at my grandparents, and I remember my grandma trying to help me understand. Like, she was like, "What are you looking for?" And I'm in the laundry room, just opening all the drawers. Like, I need duct tape, and she's like, "Okay, like whatever." And I just like, I remember I had seen that movie. I told my friend about it, and this was when like all of your friends watch the same movie every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like whatever movie you saw that weekend, majority is like a good chance is that your friends also were watching the same channel and saw that movie that weekend. And I just remember telling my buddy Luke about it, and he was just like, all right, yeah, let's do that. And then like we were role playing with the airsoft guns, and I remember I'm like coming around the corner with my white beard, and I got the M9 duct taped on my back, and I, you know, it's a spring fired out like airsoft pistol, so like I had it cocked. I was like, in my head, I was like, I only got one shot. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to cock it again, and I won't have enough time. And I remember him like having me dead to rights with like a full battery like airsoft gun. And I was like, he's for the vibes, he's gonna let me get the draw. But if I miss, he's gonna smug my ass. And of course, going for it and like just not getting it off the duct tape.
It's just absolutely
feeling
stuck.
Like 20 airsoft BBs ripple my body as I'm like just trying to rip it off my back. So funny. But anyways, that's what Die Hard gave me as a child. You know what I
So
mean?
Yeah,
funny.
And
I
that
think-
scene lives forever.
No, I agree. And it's like, is Die Hard just a 10-year-old doing what a 10-year-old would like? Like, it's just like if you could enter the mind of a 10-year-old, it's like, what would the 10-year-old do throughout the whole movie?
He would fucking duct tape this gun to his back.
10-year-old can fit through air ducts.
Exactly. It's like 10-year-olds are always barefoot.
Yeah.
You know?
10-year-olds always wear dirty wife beaters around the house.
10-year-olds walk on rocks, glass,
Yeah.
barefoot. Like 10-year-olds probably aren't scared of walking on
Yeah.
glass as much as they are on, you know, anything else.
This is just the this is a day in the life of a 10-year-old.
10-year-olds just want to swear
Just
all the time.
Yeah, played out in cinema. It just, you took a 10-year-old's day of playing and turned it into a cinema movie.
10-year-olds like
Even with like, it's like a bad German, like here's the deal. Hans Gruber is like epically evil, but at the same time, it's also just like classic, like just a German bad guy.
Stereotype.
He's always German.
it's the bad guy who's like, Nazis aren't around anymore, but in all the movies I grew up watching, Nazis were bad guys. So bad guys are German.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, I think too, like the idea of like a 10-year-old home alone with like a babysitter who's like not giving two shits, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's just on the phone trying for the love of God to like order a pizza, but he doesn't even know, like he's just hoping that some 10-digit number will get to like Papa John's at some point. And just like swearing on the phone to strangers like, I'm trying to order a fucking pizza. like just calling random people and like, do you know what Papa John's number is? Like, I don't know. All the profanity in the movie makes more sense when you think of like a 10-year-old who's not allowed to curse. And like, this is his like one night a month he can swear because mom and dad aren't home. You know what I mean? Incredible. I'm glad you said that, Pat. That changes the whole movie to me.
Because that's why it's awesome. You know, it's like we meet with the blinds. Like it's like you just like, yep, tie the fire hose around yourself and jump. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's great.
Do we have some facts for this film?
We do, yeah. We got trivia and goofs.
We can move into those for sure. And but I would like to say this. Like Alan Rickman, when you hear the name, if you think Snape,
you're wrong.
Sorry, Chode. No, Hans Gruber. All right. But also, because here's why. This was his debut feature film.
No.
Yeah.
This came out before Robin Hood?
I think it did.
Wow, dude. I would have thought Robin Hood came out before
cut
this.
your heart out with a rusty spoon. Isn't that what he says in Robin Hood or something
Something
like that?
like that, dude.
Yeah, just before Robin Hood.
Yeah, this was his, I mean, he had probably been in a thing or two, but this was his debut, film. And so that was, he crushed it.
Oh,
He-
yeah.
And it sent him obviously on a big career. Because, there's Snape, but then there's also, who's the other character I'm thinking of that he plays? It's just, he has a lot of good ones. Maybe my favorite Alan Rickman is him in Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy Quest. We might have to do next time we do a third. Galaxy Quest is one of my favorite
Retro
movies
review,
of
dude.
all time.
Galaxy Quest is a phenomenal movie, and it holds up really well today too.
Oh yeah, because that's also just a day in the life of a 10-year-old. And,
what if Star Wars is real? Star Trek, I guess, more than anything. But yeah, I think I guess closing thoughts, of course, on the movie as a whole. Great movie, wholesome ending. We see the hero save the day and all that. So I think it's an appropriate movie to facilitate with your children watching. Like I would be okay letting my 10-year-old watch this movie. Like, I don't think any of the violence, there's no rape, there's no obscene nudity. The violence is all very, I think, like
action violence. It's not like
it's like squibs. No one's head explodes,
or like unnecessary. There's no unnecessary violence.
There's nothing. There's nothing torturous. Nothing.
I'm
surprised
surprised it's rated R.
Nowadays, maybe.
Yeah. Nowadays too,
back then, I think it was.
That's fair.
The opening scene is with the CEO's just head like getting splattered on the back window.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's like I'd say it is like. It'd be like a good first R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Because the lack of like sexual content, lack of like just evil violence for no reason.
I don't really need to explain anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my child probably is already aware that like people die at like the age of 10 and has seen like people die in movies. Right. Like he's going to see Jurassic Park before 10 and he's going to know people die. And like, he's going to be way less shocked when the people
and he's
die from
looking
bullets.
forward to it.
Yeah. He's going to be way less shocked when people don't die from dinosaurs. They just get shot and fall over. He's going to be like, oh, okay. That's not as scary. But anyways,
the teeth really got me.
Yeah. I think it's a great movie for the family. I know we watch it every Christmas now.
Good one for the kids, good one for the family.
Trivia. Got some quick facts here. Pat's also got some cool facts that he's perused from the internets to share. But the Nakatomi Plaza, which one of the sickest things I've ever seen is just gear, like hats or shirts that are just in reference to the Nakatomi Plaza, because I think it's such a subtle inside joke. And like one of my favorite things is like Nakatomi Plasma Christmas Party 1988. And it's just like very subtle. And I just remember seeing that. I saw it in the wild. And it was like someone wearing it as like a hoodie. And I was like, Nakatomi Plaza. Why do I know that name? And I was like scratching my brain for about it. And I was like, oh, that's legit. That's
1988. I think I was at that party.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I wasn't born, but why do I know about that party, dude? But anyways, it's actually, or it was the headquarters of 20th Century Studios, so it was cool. They rented their own building though to save on like taxes and stuff like that.
Smart.
Yeah, they charged itself rent for the use and then unfinished building. Some of the middle floors were occupied by legal and administrative departments, so only empty floors were used for filming. Still, the filming of the scenes that involved gunfire had to be postponed until after hours. Which is like, dude, you work for a movie studio. Like, I would
Just another day at work.
I would seek that job out for, squibs and like blanks going off while I'm working.
If I can hold an MP5 while I'm at the desk, sign me up.
Oh, I got to get this back to the prop department.
And honestly, it's like, this is we're pre-active shooter era. Like, just have fun with guns on the 7th floor.
Yeah,
come on.
Exactly. Scene where Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman first meet up in the movie was unrehearsed because they wanted to create the greater feeling of spontaneity between the two actors and make it more natural. And I think it does. It's a brief moment of levity in the film where like you can tell everything is kind of wavy. It kind of feels right before a roller coaster crashes down and you're just like, huh?
And as a director, if you want the general vibe to be, I don't know what to say now, then that's a good way to do it, because it's like, all right, you guys are going to, improv this out, like, just like unrehearsed. And then it's just like, they're trying to figure each other out, trying to size each other up. Okay, am I supposed to talk now? Am I not? And that does create that tension on screen for the viewer.
Well, and I think like a lot of other great movies do that. Like Heat, in the movie Heat, they never had Robert De Niro, Al Pacino meet until they filmed the scene in the movie where they sit down for coffee, and it was in one take, and they memorized their lines really well. And like, so like, they never let them be on set together and see each other on the set of the movie. So that way, when they met for the first time for coffee, they were both like, "You fucking guy." You know what I mean? It was pretty sick. It works out. It works out for films. It lets the actors be more natural. For the shot where Hans Gruber falls, of course, one of the best shots, one of the shots where everyone for a long time was like, how did he do that? Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman, is actually dropped 40 feet, and they did it at a lower elevation and kind of played with the background perspective with lenses. So he's not really being dropped from the top of the skyscraper. It was apparently like dropped from the lower one, and he falls into an airbag with a blue screen cover. A stuntman was holding Rickman up with a rope, and then after Rickman's line was repeated twice for filming, the crew just dropped him without him being aware of it. And so the reaction of Rickman in slow motion, just like you see it when he slips, right? And his face has like that delay and then
that surprise,
utter shock as you get when you're like kind of stumbling off a ladder or something, or whatever. And like all of that is real because he wasn't ready for the free fall drop yet.
Yeah, because they did the classic, the age old. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, on three. Okay, 1, 2, boom. They dropped him on 2. Just classic. Years ready for 3. Got him on 2. And because I think that's why that scene, they're doing that close up on his face. It is so like,
it's real.
He's not acting.
You see, one of my favorite things is it's in such focus at the beginning that you see his pupils go
change.
pinpoint. You know what I mean? Just like, oh my God, I'm falling. Like, oh my God, something's gone wrong. Anyways, those are the ones I got. Pat, what do you got for some cool factoids?
Yeah, so Die Hard was based on a book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was based on a book.
Didn't know that.
And it was a 1966 novel called Nothing Lasts Forever. And over time, a couple people got rights to this, and it was for a while. Clint Eastwood had rights to the novel. And Clint Eastwood was going to do this movie.
Huh.
And then he didn't have any more, and then they're talking about making the movie again, and they were planning on making this movie, and they offered the job here. Okay, they offered the job
Nicolas Cage
of John McClane to Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow. How old was he at the time?
73.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That checks out.
Yippee.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, he's just crooning the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, but like, that would have been such a flop of a movie.
Was Frank Sinatra ever in any movie? I don't know.
He was. He wasn't some good movies actually.
Oh, really?
I think was he in?
I've only ever seen Frank Sinatra like when he's like hosting an awards show.
Yeah, but I mean, he was in good movies when he was younger.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
like
yeah, sure.
And so those movies probably wouldn't stand up to modern times. But anyways, yeah, it's just I don't think that would have worked. And Bruce Willis was like not even choice number 3. Like they went down the list till they got to him, and boy were they lucky.
That's crazy.
Like I said, it was also Alan Rickman's feature film debut, and that launched him into some huge roles going forward.
Dude.
That I mean, he had some.
Because just as many times as someone quotes John McClane, someone quotes Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Most of which were pretty dark characters though in the future, which he was pretty resistant to taking.
Dude, but he played the real hero in Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anyone says. Harry Potter is not the hero of those movies. It's Snape.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. I don't even like Harry Potter,
fair.
dude.
That's fair.
I just watched Harry Potter to see the scenes with Alan Rickman.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he played some infamous characters and throughout time, and he does have this he had that it thing for a bad guy. You know, he could just get you.
Do you think this set him down that path?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Was he the bad guy also in Quigley Down Under?
He was.
What year did that come out?
I don't know, but I remember he was like the bad guy, not Baron, but like he was like the manager of all the other mine workers.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Sweeney Todd.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bad guy in Sweeney Todd, right? Wasn't he like the father of the love interest?
I think so.
I never even saw that.
That was pretty good, bro.
Yeah.
It is a
Maybe
good
I'll watch
film.
it now. It came out.
Sorry, not father of the love interest. He was like the adoptive father of Sweeney Todd's daughter in that movie. Dude, I like that movie simply for I'm a big fan of the what's her name? The female actress in that movie who's the supporting role with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, she plays a lot of good.
She's in Harry
characters.
Potter as well. She's like psychopath.
She's in Les Mis as
I think she's
the
just
housekeeper's wife.
one, she's an incredible singer, and two, I think she's just a awesome actress. But sorry, continue on. Any other facts?
Those were my facts. Just
I got
hitters.
one real quick.
All
you got one?
Let's hear
Yeah.
it.
Only a couple of the actors who play the German terrorists were actually able to speak German in the film. Most of them were chosen for looking like a menace to fit the roles.
Muscle
but
menaces.
Willis was actually born in West Germany.
Bruce
Oh.
Willis?
Yeah.
Really?
Huh.
Was it military?
He was more
parents?
German than all of the Germans in that film.
Incredible. I didn't know that. That's a good
Yeah.
fact.
I didn't know that either.
I got a couple goofs. Couple oopsies.
Also, she's in Fight Club.
Yeah, she's in Fight
Yeah,
Club.
that's the one I was thinking of. That
She's
like,
also
such a
excellent in Fight Club.
hitter. Yeah, big hitter.
What a film.
Dude, I just watched that movie again recently. My wife and I had a date night where we pick our favorite movies and sit down to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
She's already seen so many of my favorites that I had to think of a one that she hadn't seen.
Mm,
So I picked Fight Club.
nice.
And she went into it and she's like, I could tell she was like, kind of hands on her side, like,
Gosh,
I gotta watch a movie about these guys beating each other up in a basement.
yeah.
And like, okay, one, Billie Jean doesn't sound like that. Our wives listen to the podcast. I'm in trouble. Edit this out. Two, I knew that's kind of like her disposition. And then like, she was like,
The hands started to
it was like
drop.
30 minutes in and she's like, but when do they fight? And then it was like, an hour in, she's like, this movie is definitely not what I thought it was. And then by the end of the movie, she's like, that's a great movie. Like, she loved it. She thought it was a phenomenal movie.
Wait, what movie did she make you watch?
Oh, I Love You, Man. Great comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of her favorite rom-coms. And I think that's a great rom-com. That's a bromance movie.
Mm-hmm.
The romance part is like definitely second to the bromance. But some Goofs. Some big old Goofs. One of my favorite ones here, which, is classic. Takagi. He was born in Kyoto in 1937, according to what he's described in the movie. Yet a computer readout displays his military service assigned to the aircraft carrier Akagi in July 1940. This would be impossible to serve in the Imperial Japanese Navy at the age of 3.
I don't know. They needed everybody they could get for that one. That's all I have to say about that.
That was rough times. Several times during transmissions with the two-way radios, characters interrupt each other, which would be impossible given the type of radios they were using. That is cringe to me now, after having worked with two-way radios and radios that technically aren't two-way and allow you to talk over, but they cut out someone else, right? And like seeing the way they interrupt each other, I'm like, oh God, I would just be screaming over the radio to them to shut up. I'd be like, wait your turn. Wait for me to stop talking.
It'd be funny if you did that, like if you played a scene out like that and then like had to take a break during like your cussing match to like establish like, look, we got to use proper radio protocols now, please. I just wish I agree. Okay. Like copy that, coming in and out.
Because I think it's only McClane that interrupts the Family Matters dad. And I think I think it would have been funnier if he just looked so fucking annoyed in his car and just like, McClane, I thought you said you were a cop, damn it. Like, stop interrupting me on the radio. You know what I mean? But when McClane clicks to the clicker and drops the monitor with the C4 down the elevator, he has a moment to jump away as the explosion rises. But fun fact for a lot of people who aren't experienced with destructive devices as described by the ATF, the gas from C4, compound 4 plastic explosive, expands faster than the speed of sound. And so by the time John McClane dropped that and jumped into the elevator, the explosion would have gone past his body and his face would have been melted. And so
I agree, but these rules don't apply to anything pre-95.
Actually, it's the Goofs segment,
okay.
So please stop.
Yeah,
but we can say it was for Cinema Matters, but actually, this is where we talk about real factual things.
Oh my gosh, I just want to see like when that was written. Like, have you ever seen on IMDb when people come in and say stuff like 40 years later on something, and you're just like, well, yeah, that's because you're watching it now, bro. Like this movie's so cringe, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's 2023. That came out in 92. Anyways,
I think we knew how C4 worked, though.
Well, this is true. But, 80s muscle man explosions.
You're right.
You're
right. It had to be behind him, and it has to be moving slower than him as he falls down an elevator shaft. I understand that. Yeah. I'm just saying. His shirt would have been melted to his body.
He would have been smoked dead.
Yeah, it would have been crispy Christmas turkey.
Man, am I glad we didn't do Predator tonight.
Dude, no. Okay. All right, let's do Predator as the next retro, dude. Just because someone tested out recently. You guys should watch this, and it'll make you want to go over. It'll make you want to watch Predator again. Someone just tested out Corridor Digital. Shout out to the MVPs who made me first get into home video and like recording my own videos with my high school buddies. Corridor Digital tested if you could use mud to hide your body heat signature from heat vision cameras. They tested on several different IR wavelengths with heat vision, or thermal cameras, right? Not heat. I shouldn't say heat vision. Thermal cameras, and you guys got to watch it to see, because it's pretty insane how the application from like the movie, and it's like the idea, like when that movie was made in '85, thermals were so cutting edge that most people didn't believe they really existed, and that it was just a fake imagery full of the, like, it was like a trick of cinema. Like that's that's not recording through thermal. That's just Hollywood. How do we, like, I guess that could be how thermal looks to an alien. And like that's how new the technology was at the time.
It's wild.
And so like the idea that someone wrote this script was like mud. And like it's pretty crazy. So they put it to the test. It is pretty cool to watch.
I think that's awesome.
Does it work?
I'm not going to spoil it. You guys got to watch it.
All right.
It's I'll say this, like when you watch it, you're just like your expectations go up and down. Yeah. And like it's a roller coaster of a short video.
If it does work out,
shout out to Corridor.
My only thought is like not only is thermal cutting edge, but
mud.
then somebody figures out that mud. I'm like, if only every single person in a Middle Eastern war would have known that mud might have saved them.
Hey, bro, you gotta have water first to make
no
mud.
Kidding. Like, a little fun, like C4 fact on how it blows you up. There was a Mac V SOG guy who was a savage, and basically you would get some awesome leave time if you took a captive. So these guys fighting over in Laos, if they could get a guy captured, they would get to go to Hawaii for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks leave, like in Hawaii.
Holy smokes.
Which was like, yeah. So like, I mean, these guys wanted to capture someone bad, right? And so the best idea they'd come up with was trying to like, first they tried to do like claymores in a way that would like only take out like 4 of the 5 people and like kind of knock the legs out of the 5th so they could get him home.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working. They were
killing everybody.
Yeah, killing everybody every time. So this guy who's just
zombies.
dead set on getting a captive, he's like, we're going to use C4 and we're going to knock him out with it. He's so I need to learn how to knock out someone with C4. The easiest and most sensible way to do this is to clack off C4 in front of myself and close the distance until I knock myself out. And so he went to the range with a bunch of C4 and he's just has this ordnance and he's just blasting it off, stepping forward, blasting it off. No, okay, like for real, like TBI and like PTSD and like especially TBI, like
not service related.
Yeah, like how much like that is like something people really know about now and really a huge focus, like just repeatedly just taking steps forward till finally he got to the perfect distance where he just got there and clacked it off and just woke up and the sun was down or whatever. Like he knocked himself out with the C4, but
that's incredible.
What a wild man.
Dude, can you imagine the bill for like whatever department or division he was under? Like, holy shit, dude, we're going through pounds and pounds of this stuff.
That's the best part about fighting a secret war.
Yeah.
There's just the black budget.
A blank check.
All money is made up. All right. The helicopters in the scene where the FBI agents Johnson & Johnson are trying to do a helicopter rescue extraction of the hostages on the roof are actually United States Marine Corps' gunships. So here's a weird thing. No one really knows how the movie did this in LA. And a lot of people have examined the footage trying to see if like it's propped with like the rotor spinning and then the background of LA's green screen. But like you could see by the camera sweeping that whatever camera is filming these helicopters is also a camera in a helicopter. But these United States Marine Corps gunships, they're military vehicles, and it would take a presidential authority to suspend the Posse Comitatus Act and call in the U.S. military on U.S. soil in order to deal with a hostage crisis. That would be the reality of the situation, right? If the FBI was trying to use military vehicles with military pilots to rescue hostages. People are like, somehow though, 20th Century Fox convinced the U.S. military to surpass the Posse Comitatus Act to film these gunships flying over L.A. And somehow LAPD and like California as a whole as a state was chill with it. And I was just like, everyone's like, no one's ever been able to do this before. Like the reason you don't see military helicopters in movies, even old movies, flying over America is because it's illegal to have military aircraft operating over America and like, unless it's like training stuff, right? And so like a lot of people are like trying to figure out like, how did this company end up doing it? And like, could other companies do it instead of CGI? That's my final little goof there, which is not really goof. Like I said, I think the best goofs are the actually ones, where it's more of a annoying factual correction that you can, when you're sipping shitty beer this holiday, share with your family. But with that, we've reached the end of our brews and reviews. We've covered a lot of stuff about Bruce Willis and all that. And here at the end, it's time to give our thumbs up rating, thumbs down rating of Die Hard. And you know what? No delay, no showboating. I'm going to give Die Hard a 2 thumbs up.
No doubt.
It was a great movie when I was a child, and it's still a damn good movie today, no matter how many times I've seen it and how predictable it is.
Oh, yeah. I think, because here's the deal. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up as well, because here's the deal. If Hollywood came out with a movie that just kind of stuck to, the general guidelines of what makes a good story, such as this, they'd crush it at the box offices.
Right now.
Yeah, right now at this moment. If you just remade Die Hard, called it something different, changed it up a little bit, I think it's what people want. A day in the life of a 10-year-old. And I think it would make so much money, because there's so many movies and TV shows coming out every day. It's like I used to think about this about like YouTube. You just cannot watch all of the things on YouTube. How many lifetimes would it take to watch all of the content? It's getting that way to me with like TV shows and movies. Like, you can't keep up with every TV show and every movie coming out. They're just pumping them out.
That's why people rely on our God-given thumbs here as the Mick Pat show. People are
Except when it
entrusting
comes
you
to
and
beers, I guess.
Oh, no. We've recommended some damn good beers.
And some pretty shitty ones.
No. We've never recommended shitty beer. We've always canceled out.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm going, 2 thumbs.
Dude, all right. Dean?
There's a part of me that wants to just give it 1.
For what reason?
When I line this up to the greatest movies out there.
Okay, greatest movies. Put it in its genre, though.
Yeah. And that's when I really think about this in context, in what they were aiming for, what they delivered on, and the timelessness of it. For what it is, I do think it's 2.
Hell yeah.
I give this 2 thumbs up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you think anyways. 4 thumbs up for the Mick Pat show. All right, go grab yourself a beer can. Consider your family and their age and if they'd enjoy this movie. But you know what? If you're just out there and, you find yourself awake late at night during the holidays, all the family's gone to bed, your in-laws from out of town are snoring upstairs, and you're just like, gosh, I just need something to kind of cope right now. Put on Die Hard. Turn on your Bluetooth headphones. Sit in your recliner and enjoy a good movie. And enjoy a good beer, too.
Or 5.
Or drink it till you fall asleep, I guess. But anyways,
you said a recliner. I feel like that's the only way to go out.
Well, it's a recliner because your bed's being used by your in-laws.
Yeah.
You got family in from out of town, all that stuff. So anyways, Ken, thanks for joining us. Dean, thanks for joining us. Always happy to have
for having me.
Have a guest and a friend on the show. We wishing you all a happy holidays. We'll probably be able to do another seasonal brews and reviews, timely one here. We say it's every week, but that's just part of the joke. And Pat, you got any sign-offs?
I might go home and watch Die Hard right now. Yeah, but thanks for joining us, and till next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.